Good morning, Team Impact. We're going to get started here. This is going to be an abbreviated lesson here. I was on the phone with a few parents this morning, but we're going to be adding integers today, and we're going to do some problems in class. And actually, I'm going to pause this and go put this on the copier real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. All right, I'm going to kind of skip over this because I think sometimes these are a little bit more confusing. But anyway, let's slide down to number 4 here and take a peek at adding some integers. So essentially, guys, when we add integers, all right, with numbers with unlike signs, one's a positive and one's a negative, we're going to subtract the numbers and give it the sign of the bigger number, right? So 6 minus 2 is 4, and the sign of the bigger number is a negative, right? Right. So if you want to look at it through the counter method, all right, we could go like this, and we have 4 negatives left, right? Over here, 10 plus negative 3, all right? So I'm going to subtract the numbers with unlike signs. I'm going to give it the sign of the bigger number. Here's 1, there's 1. Here's 1, there's 1, there's 1, there's 1. And I have 7 positives left. Down here, 9 minus 4 is 5. The sign of the bigger number is positive. And if we get rid of these, right, we have 5 left. 7 minus 1 is 6. The sign of the bigger number is a negative. There's 1, and there's negative 6. Down here, we're adding numbers with like signs. So now we're going to combine the numbers, right? We're going to combine those, and we're going to give it the sign of the bigger number, negative 4. Because here's a negative, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that ends up being our answer. We're adding numbers with like signs. Combine the numbers, give it the sign of the bigger number, negative 13. And there you have it. So real quick, when we're adding numbers with unlike signs, we subtract them. When we're adding numbers with like signs, we combine them. Right? Let's flip it over and take a peek at the other side. All right? We have a couple more with a counter here. All right, so, all right, write an expression for this. So this would be 6 plus negative 4, right? Because, all right, we have 4 negatives, and if we wanted the answer and we wanted to get rid of those, we end up with 2. Or 6 minus 4 is 2, the sign of the bigger number. Here is negative 2 plus 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, negative 11. And that solution, or sum, because it's an addition problem, would be negative 13. Okay? Okay. So I'm not going to go through and model all these counters. We're going to go ahead and add these up and take a peek at it. So 6 plus 3 is 9, right? Negative 8 plus negative 6. Adding numbers with like signs. Combine the numbers, give it the sign of the bigger number. Excuse me, combine the numbers and give it the sign of those numbers. I'm sorry. We're adding numbers with unlike signs. Subtract the numbers, give it the sign of the bigger number, negative 4. 18 plus 3. 18, all right? 18 plus a negative 3. So we're going to subtract, right? And we're going to give it the sign of the bigger number. So you just have to know really 2 rules. If the signs are unlike, subtract them and give it the sign of the bigger number. If the signs are like, combine and give it those signs. 7 plus negative 7 is 0. They cancel out. And a lot of times people will use a number line. 11 plus 5, subtract. Give it the sign of the bigger number, right? Okay, so without finding the actual sum, determine whether the result will be a positive, negative integer. Be able to justify your answer. Okay, well, I know when I subtract these two, it's going to be a positive. Positive, right? Because 6 minus 4. All right, when I subtract these two, because they're unlike signs, I know it's going to be a negative. Because the negative 16 is greater, all right, in terms of looking at it, all right? I'm combining numbers with like signs. So 2 plus 20 is 22, and it's a negative, right? And it's negative 22. Here, I'm adding numbers with unlike signs, so I would subtract it and give it the sign of the bigger number, so it's going to be a negative. Here, I'm combining numbers with like signs. I'm going to add those two up and give it a sign of a negative. Down here, 15 plus negative 14, I would subtract those two and I would give it the sign of the bigger number, so it's going to be a positive. Negative 6 plus 8. All right, so I would subtract those two and it's going to be a positive. So, looking at it different ways, we've talked about it. Let's talk about the homework tonight, okay? Homework in here, and we're going to do more problems in class, by the way. But if you're at home, this is our homework. It's homework number 2 in the packet, down numbers 1 through 12, all right? This is a quick little lesson, so go ahead and take a peek at it. This is due, and Con is due on Friday. Thanks. Have a good day.